So yeah, very good evening to all the students. First of all, I have to thank Guna Grace for this accept our invitation through our university. Thank you so much, Guna, your time. So I don't take much time of you. I'll just read a small brief about Guna Grace. So he is the senior account director in LinkedIn. He is having a very good profile, students, because it will take if you read it will take another 20 to 25 minutes. So I don't want to read all that. You can just go through the LinkedIn profile. Is he have around 15 years experience in this field, like networking and business development and all that. So I just want to highlight few of them for your reference. So he is the LinkedIn for last 2 years and 7 months, senior account director. So earlier, the one of thing I just want to highlight, he is the one of the founder. Uh, he is the one of the founder for the Naukri.com. It's a well-known, all that. It's a job portal. It's a well famous portal. He is the founder for that portal. So that's very important. You have a very good experience with the corporate sales and branch managers and business development and all that. So is very good in networking. Closely with me for is one of a very close friend. I happy to proud to say Guna Grace. Thank you, Guna, for giving a time for our students. Definitely make use of that. It's a great. It's hope it's very interaction session. So after Guna's speech, you can just have a Q&A session. So based on that, you'll take it forward. Thank you so much, students and placement coordinator, and wonderful time with us for the directors and HODs. Also, again, once again, thanks to Guna for your wonderful time with us. Thank you. Go ahead, Guna. It's your time. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much. Thanks for giving that context, Ganesh. Hope everybody is hearing me.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Sure. So just being cognizant whether you all are hearing, it's a new normal for everybody now to be on the Zoom to do a lot of sessions. Thank you very much appreciate the invitation from Ganesh. Like Ganesh was actually a really amazing person, and he's a great friend, and he always is really concerned about um, the students who are you, and he has been always our conversations, if it is like 10-15 minutes, 10 minutes he would speak about the students, like what we can do, how we can actually improve your quality in terms of the career perspectives and so on. And he's very passionate, and he also actually explained about uh, BS Abdul Rahman University, the kind of initiatives and the kind of amazing things that you guys are doing. And special greetings to your chairman. Like Ganesh used to always say that he is always inclined at LinkedIn, and he reads a lot in LinkedIn and so on. So this is fantastic, and I also thank everybody in this call. I'm not going to do another lecture for you guys, but I'm just going to do a simple practical session which can actually help you in terms of understanding what is happening in the market, and it can give you some direction in terms of where you are and where you have to land up. And when you're landing, it shouldn't be a crash landing, it should be a smooth landing. So that's the whole objective of this session. And after I complete, maybe you are open to ask any questions. Do not feel reluctant to ask questions, any questions which is bothering you, so that I can actually jump and give clarifications. No question is a bad question, and no question is a dull question, because for a person, if there is a question and if there is an answer, then it satisfies him, and that is it. There's no good or bad questions, so feel free. Okay. I'm just going to take you through some of these slides. But these slides are not very important. But what is important is to understand from these slides, like what and how you can shape your career, right? So most importantly, a lot of people, a lot of students always have in mind that what will happen to me when I actually move out of my college. Um, it's very important question to ask that comes to one's mind. It's because I have been investing a lot of time in my schooling, in my college, and it's been like 23, 24, 20, or 20 years like I've invested in the education. And after that, what will happen to my life? So the same kind of question was there in my mind. So when I actually graduated out of college, the personal story is like um, there were very less number of jobs, and there was Y2K. If you are aware of Y2K problem, there was a technical, all the tech companies faced this Y2K problem when people entered into from 1999 to 2000. And so there was a lot of job cuts which happened. And when I was graduating out of college, I was with a large hope that I would get a job. I'm basically an IT engineer and an MBA. So I didn't find a job. So on that part, like I've been, one thing is that the situations, the scenarios in this world keep happening. Y2K happened, 2008 recession happened, 2020 we are in, there is a pandemic which is happening and you're all facing it. So one or the other situations will keep happening in this world, but the world will move, you will move. So I was one of the person who actually started off Naukri's branch. In sense, I should say, initial member of the Naukri team in Chennai, in the south. But then after that, I founded a company called Go School. There is it is into a ERP software kind of a company which still is running. And then I've joined LinkedIn based on the call that LinkedIn has actually offered me to join, to take the business for them in the south, to build a business for them in the south. And that's the short profile of mine. So interestingly, I'm going to start with the story. How many of you like stories?
We like stories.
Okay, cool. So I would like to hear from you a little bit, yes, no, so that I feel that we are all interacting with each other, right? Like I'll keep the session as interactive as possible, though it's not a classroom, right? So keep saying yes, keep saying hey, who, keep saying hooray, keep saying you liked it. Feel free. And that's how learning happens. Learning doesn't happen in a like very bureaucratic environment, right? So keep saying that, share your views, thoughts, keep saying yes, you're there, and so on. I will stop in between and ask like, can you hear me? Can you see my screen? Are you able to understand anything, and so on? Just keep answering those, okay? Hello?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
great,
sir.
great. So what do you see in the screen?
Sharkfish.
Okay. So
A
big
fish,
shark.
a shark.
Shark, yeah.
Shark
So I'm
without
going to
teeth.
tell you a story. Maybe you know the story, but then this will help you a lot in terms of how you think. Okay. So there's an experiment called a shark and fish experiment, which a group of experts did. So the story is how they did the experiment is like they had a large aquarium. Of course, the shark was not this big, a large aquarium wherein they put a sizable shark, and then they put some bait fishes, like small fishes, in the other side of the aquarium. Let's say for imagination purpose, the aquarium was like a 60 feet aquarium, okay, or a 50 feet aquarium. Like just imagine, like they put a lot of fishes inside the one side of the aquarium, and the other side of the tank was there was a shark, a sizable shark which was put there. As soon as the shark saw the small fishes, what it would have done? Hello?
Eat.
It would have went and
Attacked
eaten
them, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
the shark went fast and it attacked all the fishes and it ate them. They kept putting the small fishes and the shark kept eating them, attacking them, and so on. And it was free and it was roaming around the big aquarium, big sized aquarium. Then after a few weeks, what they did is they have actually put a strong fiberglass and partitioned the aquarium into two. You get what I'm saying? They partitioned the aquarium into two. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now they have put small fishes in the other side of the aquarium. And what do you think the shark did? The shark went fast and hit that fiberglass because it's a transparent fiberglass, and the shark can still see the small fishes on the other side. It hit that barrier, which is like a fiberglass, like very fast, but it was not able to go to the other side to eat the fish. So it kept doing again and again and again for several weeks. Slowly, what happened, in a day, it used to hit like 1,000 times. And after that, it started becoming 500. And after a few days, it started becoming 200. And then 100. And then 50 times it was hitting. And then 1 or 2 times. And then it gave up. As it gave up, the other fishes started swimming freely in their partition. And the shark started swimming freely in its partition, but it never attacked that fiberglass, transparent fiberglass. In the mind, the shark literally gave up, right? After some time, the scientists or the research experts removed the fiberglass. Can anyone guess what happened?
It would
The
be
shark
thinking
didn't
that
attack.
the fiberglass would be still there, so it didn't attack.
Yes, exactly. You nailed it. So the shark did not attempt to go and hit the fiberglass, or it didn't attempt to go to the other side of the aquarium at all, or the big glass tank at all. And the other fishes were swimming freely. So what do you understand from this?
Moral of the story is just it is our mindset that limit us.
Absolutely. It is just the mindset which is limiting us. So when you, for example, like there are always setbacks and failures in our life, which is not constant. But at a point in time, we emotionally give up and we stop trying. Let's take an example like when you are actually in the college and you have a lot of arrears. Sometimes we literally give up, saying that I wouldn't clear this. Sometimes when people graduate out of college, you go and attend a lot of interviews and you fail. And you give up because you feel that you're not ready, you're not like worth it for that particular job. I would like to say that these setbacks and failures are just not constant, and it is very, very temporary. The mindset, whatever happened to us in the past is the reality, and the same thing would happen again and again when you do the same thing. Like the shark went and hit the barrier and it came back again and gave up. Sometimes the thing that is holding you back is very, 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 very small. It's just I put a pictorial representation for you to understand, like the horse can pull the chair and it can actually, we say horsepower, right? It can throw the chair away and it can run, but it is tuned. It is all in your head. So the thing is that what you think in your head, your mindset, is the biggest barrier for you. It's not the interviews, it's not the failures, it's not the setbacks. It's this just the mindsets of thinking about the failures and setback. It will come again and again to you. So I will stop here and understand what do you think about this, students. Come on, guys. You're all like
Yes,
young
sir.
guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What do you think? என்ன நினைக்கிறீங்க இதை பத்தி? What do you guys think?
The horse is still thinking that he is tied in some with strong substance. He cannot move.
Correct.
He's not trying to move the horse.
Yeah. So we all as human beings have mindsets. Your professors will have a mindset. You will have a mindset. People in the corporate like us has a mindset. And if we are able to break the mindset, then we would be able to sail through. So today the mindset can be pandemic. Like you should have been thinking like, oh, the companies are not hiring, the companies are not recruiting, or oh, I'm not prepared, I'm not going to college. How will I prepare myself? Like, how do I actually reach out to my professors? How do I train myself for the interviews and so on? This is just a mindset. And if you could break that, learning is everywhere. Okay. I've been actually giving some courses to your to Mr. Ganesh, saying that no, we should actually do some courses online for the students so that they can actually log in from wherever they are and take some courses. There are a lot of content which is floating in the internet. You should learn by yourself. You should become an independent learner. That is the biggest culture that you can cultivate for yourself. That will help you, right? So let's get into the subject a little bit. Okay. I'm going to get into a little bit of understanding of what you know about India. Okay. So this is India for your information. This is just a 2017 census. The census is taken every like 15 years time, but this is some direction. Like India has a population of 130 to 140 crore people. You know what? Of the 134 to 140 crore people, 44 crore people are in the urban destination, which is like cities, not in the village, right? 45 crores are using internet. 42 crores are using mobile internet. Even 16 crore people are using mobile internet. You can see this, right? So everybody is in internet, and internet can be a great source for you for learning, right? Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this would also open up some of the thoughts for your professors. Like in a survey, the new generation talent, okay? The new generation talent is nobody but you. You are the new generation talent of India, right? So the new generation talent, what do they care about? Okay, 76% of you are worried about the planet, which means that when Tamil Nadu faced a culture setback on Jallikattu, there were more students on the beach than the professionals. When there is a disaster in the nature like a flood, there were thousands of students on the field helping people. And I believe that during this pandemic, when people are struggling, like I'm a part of the NGO where there are like hundreds of students are distributing food through the NGOs. So first, I want to give you an applause. Like you all can clap your hands now for yourself. I'm not hearing anything. Good. So you are the future of India, right? Like you are the future of tech India, or you are the future leaders of India. You should be mindful about that. 60% of the youngsters who are you, the new generation, what they do is they feel that if I am joining in an organization or in a work, in a job that I do, it should impact people, which means it should do good for the people. For example, if I join LinkedIn, LinkedIn is actually creating jobs. LinkedIn is actually giving learning to a lot of people so that they can get the jobs that they are aspiring for, right? This is an impact. If you're joining like CureFit, for example, a health app, you feel that no, through the health app, there are so many people who are doing the exercises. The teachers are teaching there, and you're able to do that software, or you're able to do that, functional part of it, or execute it, and so on. And so people are benefiting out of the health, and so you're keeping the India healthy. So that is what is the costs that you're working for. 60% of the young India look at impact, which means if I do this work, that should be a difference that I'm making to the society. And that also requires a lot of applause, this time a bigger applause. I again want to hear your claps. So it is you who are going to design the future, right? Because you are all over there. You're all using WhatsApps. You're all there in Facebooks, and you can create an impact. But just think about it. If you are able to join Facebook, if you are able to join LinkedIn, join WhatsApp, what kind of impact that you can create to India? That is really, really amazing, right? I'm going to leave this thought to you. I'm not giving any motivation talk to you. By the by, I'm telling you, these are researched data which is available with me. And these are like, even if you go and search in the internet, you will find that these things. It is just, I'm just showcasing this to you because it is you who are to change the world. Like 20 years back, I was a student. Now I'm addressing like hundreds of you who are sitting here to create the impact, right? So I would leave a thought that whenever you get graduated and you get in a job and settle well, you should look at the other students who are graduating at a point in time when you are well settled and help them, support them, share the knowledge. That would be a great giving to the society. Now, let me get into a little bit of LinkedIn. This one slide will speak about LinkedIn, and then we can move forward with the other things about your career, how to build your career, and so on. So after finishing this session, it is not that you will get a job. It is not that you have built the career, but you will start building your career from there. You will start thinking on those directions. That's my aim, and that's my agenda today. Now, if you see, there are 675 million people, okay, in LinkedIn today, which means 675 million members or registered profiles, have registered profiles in LinkedIn platform. So LinkedIn is quite big. It's a very large network, professional network in the whole world. And if you see, like LinkedIn is a Microsoft company. Like Microsoft is our parent company. And we have like 675 million members sharing data in the LinkedIn platform day in, day out. So these are not just like Facebook users. These are just like very professional users, right? So they share a lot of content which is very, very professional. So there are 50 million companies, which means that a company has the company page in LinkedIn. Companies can create company page. Professionals can create their own profile pages in LinkedIn, so that companies can advertise jobs in their company page, and the jobs are like 20 million jobs are present there in the LinkedIn platform, over the platform in the internet. And companies can create company page and post their jobs, okay? And members can actually create a profile and put their skills on the profile, so that the jobs and the members' skills are matched, and both the job and the candidate or the professionals come together and they pick up the jobs. So employers find the candidates here for their organization, and candidates find a job to work with in this platform. Now there are 90,000 schools. Of course, Crescent is also a school which is found there, has a page here. and people join the schools, okay, and learn a lot of content shared there to acquire the skills which are actually needed to get the job. So this is what LinkedIn is doing in today's scenario, which is very, very relevant to you guys. LinkedIn also has something called as LinkedIn Learning, which is a platform which has a lot of content, which is like a e-learning videos where experts come and teach you on the interpersonal skills and so on. So I will stop here and ask you a question. Does LinkedIn make an impact to the society?
Yes, sir.
Definitely, sir.
Yes. So it is the people who are there in LinkedIn who are actually responsible for this impact. And I would request, if anybody is not having a profile, it's high time you should create a profile in LinkedIn. I will just stop about LinkedIn and move to the next piece of it, what you should understand. So the skills that are existing in the market to get into a job, for example, like if there is a marketing job, then you need to have a skill, and that skill is needed in you, in any candidate, so that he clears the interview and he gets the job, right? Now, the shelf life of the skills today is just 5 years, which means every 5 years, the skills are changing rapidly, which means today there is a skill. After 5 years, that skill wouldn't exist at all. So what are we doing? What are we studying in the colleges, in the schools, in the job, what you're learning, even if you join a job and you're acquiring a skill, and after 5 years, that skill becomes obsolete. I'm going to give you some examples of those skills, but before that, I would say 35% of the core job skills will change by 2020, which is this year, which means the skills which are already there for some years are not going to help you get to the jobs. The skills are dynamically changing. The jobs are dynamically changing. Tomorrow, there is going to be a drone who will take photos of a marriage function, which means photographers will not have any job. Tomorrow, there is going to be a lot of drones which would go on a night walk, replacing the police personnel to give data, so that some of the police personnel will, of course, they are needed, but then who are going on walk on to see what is happening will not be there. Tomorrow, some of the people who are just posting your letters, like the who are called as postmen, they're coming and giving you letters, will not be there. So there are few jobs, generally I'm saying, will not be there. Maybe tomorrow there will not be a driver for your cabs, because we are speaking about driverless cars, correct? So the jobs of today or jobs of yesterday is not existing today. So 65% of the children who are already in the primary school, okay, are learning some of the skills or has to learn some of the skills which is not at all would have existed when we learned the schooling. So some of the skill sets that you are learning today in IT or in engineering or whatever, I wouldn't have learned. So this is the market scenario today. Are you understanding it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I was saying, these are some of the jobs. There are hundreds of them. I've just captured some of the jobs for you. These are some of the cool jobs, okay, that don't exist today, but will exist soon. There will be a drone manager. So when you come out of the college after 5 years, there will be a drone manager. So the job posting will be, say, we are looking for drone managers. What will they do? They will actually, the drones will be built and sent for a particular work to deliver goods or whatever. and then they will actually manage and maintain whether the goods are delivered. The softwares, they will navigate through the softwares to understand like whether this is going in the right direction, it is delivered to the right person and so on, and whether it's going in the right direction, is it going to a wrong address and so on. That's a drone manager, just giving you a glimpse of it. Tomorrow there will be like a air traffic control, private air traffic control. Everybody will start flying with maybe our commute can be airborne, and there will be like a private industry which will control traffic like in the road. There'll be a personal medical interpreter. So people will not, there'll be more number of diseases, so people will not understand what the physician is saying. So they will be like a personal coach kind of a person who will interpret the medical terminologies for you. There'll be a self-driving car mechanic. Now we have a general mechanic. The self-driving car mechanic will work on artificial intelligence and machine learning to actually fix the mechanical problem without using a spanner. There'll be a medical mentor, so he will advise you on your health and so on. I'm also going to take you through some of the skills that did not exist 10 years back. 10 years back, there was no machine learning, there was no artificial intelligence, there was no social media manager, there was no digital marketing, there was nobody called as people science expert. These jobs never existed 10 years back. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So 10 years back, if I would have presented this, people who are listening to it will see like, what are these things? Like these things would, he's saying that 10 years after these things will come. Now these are existing. 10 years back, if it have said that these are the opportunities that will exist after 10 years, which is like now we are in 2020. Just imagine if I'm presenting this to you in 2010 to college students, and they would say like, oh, these are the jobs which should come in the future. Now you see these jobs have come. Likewise, these are few jobs which you will see coming, but you're not even able to imagine these jobs. Why I'm giving you these examples is that you should be ready for tomorrow, right? Because we are only concentrated towards our books and education and so on. But what predominantly I have seen is when you're not implementing things practically, it's going to be very, very tough for you to shine in the job. Now, jobs will change, skills will change, the technology will change, but there are certain things which will not change. You're getting what I'm trying to say? Hello?
Yes, sir.
You're pointing at specific things that will not change.
Yes. So 85% of the jobs that exist in 2030, that will exist in 2030, haven't been invented yet, which means that I have shown you some jobs. In 2030, there's going to be a lot of jobs which are there, which we don't even know what the jobs are. The title itself, we don't know. If you go back to 1990s or 2000s, we didn't know that there'll be something like a Facebook will come in. There'll be something like a LinkedIn will exist. We didn't know. By the sheer, I am an example, like sitting in a LinkedIn and doing a job. Like I would have never imagined a job like this would have even existed at that point in time when I was graduating out of college. So now, but what we can do is, certain things don't change at all. That is very, very human. These things can't be replaced by robots. I know you have a car, green car, which runs on electricity in your campus. Is it not? Is it right? Yes, sir.
Yes,
You
sir.
have a Ford EcoSport car, white color car running in your campus, right? It's an electric car. You don't know that? Do you know that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Left and right.
Yeah, left and right. So, like if you see, like there's already one electric car running in the campus, right? So tomorrow, after like 20 years, like we will not have, maybe we'll have very less number of fuel cars, and it will be only electric cars. So I'm just giving you these examples because things are changing and you're seeing in your eyes and you need to be prepared. But a car can change from a diesel or a petrol to an electric. Okay, passengers don't change, right? Now in this case, in our technological time, the electric car, the fuel car has changed to electric car, but still there is somebody who's driving. Tomorrow that will not be there also. But the point is, the interpersonal skills, though the talent will require a lot of skills, these are the skills which will be there always. You might be a great expert in a particular technology, but if you don't have communication, then you may not be in the right place or you may not get that job. You may be a doctorate or a PhD in a particular field, but if you are not able to have a critical thinking, which means that if you're not able to take a decision quick on the spot, then you're not qualified for the job. During the strong times, like people like us, or actually in business now, I do business for LinkedIn, but during this time of pandemic, like all the small businesses are getting shut down. I see that a lot of startups still say that, no, I have the confidence to run the business. We will create a way, we will change the strategy to run the business. If that confidence is not there, you can't be an entrepreneur. Okay, and if you don't have an imagination or a vision towards creating a bigger world, better world, there will not be new inventions which will be happening in the world at all. Okay, if you are not developing on your interpersonal skills, you will not be able to be polite and convey certain things in a very diplomatic manner to people. Maybe you are a secretary to a chief minister, you will become a secretary to the prime minister, you will become an ambassador of India, going to another country speaking about India. You have to be very diplomatic, right? And all of that put together, and above that is the ethics part of it which comes into picture. If you don't call what is right and wrong, if you're not able to say what is right and wrong is wrong, if you're not able to call spade a spade, you can't be a big leader, you can't be a great leader. So these things don't change at all. This is the thing when we go for the interviews. I have personally interviewed your students. I have interviewed almost all the universities in the South India, at least, the freshers. What I find is there was this big college university where I went, and there was a group discussion, and I was standing there in batches, and 20 people assembled in the group interview, and then they started speaking. The GD went well, but only like out of 20 people, only like 10 people spoke. The remaining 10 did not speak. But they would have got some talent, but they are not able to exhibit that talent. So they were eliminated out of the round. So what is important is communication is important. Develop the communication. Communication is just a language. Like you should keep speaking, keep trying, and you will make mistakes or grammatically, but then you are a shark and you're hitting the wall. You're not able to go that side. 10 times you speak English and you feel that, no, I'm not able to speak properly. I'm not able to communicate properly. And then you feel that I will not speak. But the opportunity is that the barrier is removed, but you're still thinking that thinking in your mind that I will not speak. You getting what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
So the next thing is, so on the interviews, what I have also seen is a lot of people lack on the interpersonal skills. When you say interpersonal skill, how they carry themselves to an interview. What is the dress code that they should take care of? What is the kind of conversations that they should have with the interviewer? When somebody is asking a question, how do you actually critically think and say that, can I take a minute? If you don't understand a question, like you can ask like, I did not understand your question. Can you be a bit elaborate on your question? And if the person is asking that question, then after answering the question, you saying that, hey, I answered this question. Does that sound good? Is that the answer that you wanted? Can I take feedback? So there are a lot of things that are there that you can do. Interview is an interpersonal skill, right? Like giving an interview, there are so many things that you can do. So you can actually develop yourself in terms of critical thinking, communication. These all come under the interpersonal skills that you can develop, right? Sometimes you have to call out. If you don't know, you have to call out, I am sorry, I don't know. But to call out saying that I don't know, there is a fear which will stop you. But the confidence here, which will tell saying that, hey, I am confident and I'm telling I don't know what I don't know. And the interviewer will think like, hey, he is not in fear, but he's calling out and he has the confidence to say that he doesn't understand or he doesn't know that particular thing. And you also add saying that I don't know this. Maybe I will go home today and do a research on that. Can I have your email ID? I can actually mail you a presentation on this. So these are all things that which will impact, attract, and I will feel that as an interviewer, I'll feel that, oh, this guy don't know this, but he is willing to learn. And we need people who are willing to learn. You're getting it? Let me move. So what is the expectation from the students and what is the expectation from the employers? Let me tell you very clearly, my dear students, like the employers are expecting a job ready candidate, which means that employers are just expecting you to be a plug and play resource. Okay, you should be at least half ready for the job, and then they can train a little bit and then they can take you to the next level. What candidates are expecting? Candidates expect the learning which can help them acquire the skills that would lead to a job. And this is, again, I'm reading this out for your professors and the faculty and the university as such. Candidates expect a learning which can actually help them acquire the skills that would lead them to a job, which means that academy is super important, but at the same time, what we expect is like whether the candidate is ready, like how I spoke in the last slide, whether they are confident, whether they are ready to learn, whether they are able to carry themselves well, whether they are able to critically think, whether they are able to communicate, whether they are able to develop, if I give a case, whether they are able to ask question to us, whether they are able to listen to what we are actually speaking to. So these are the things that we expect as a employer so that we can train them in the job related skills a little bit. But this is the majority of the skills. The skills can change. The jobs can change. The title can change. But your preparedness should be like, you should be prepared in terms of the things that I told you, which is this. If you're prepared on this, and you can learn your courses. Like, for example, you can go and say that what is a OOPS concept. You can go and learn like what is Maslow's theory. You can go and learn what is Pythagoras' theory of displacement. But what you can't learn is, I know the theory, but I should know to communicate. So I know the theory, I will stand before the mirror and start communicating in English to find out whether I'm able to communicate. Maybe the first time I'll fail, maybe the 10th time I'll fail, maybe the 100th time I'll fail, the 101st time I will succeed. It's just intelligent students who are first benchers and the last benchers. I'll tell you, for the intelligent students, it should be like 10 times they practice, they get it. Maybe for some of the students who are not so very intelligent, who are like not at par with the intelligent students, it's like the 101st time you prepare, you are at it, you are already ready for that. And interview is going to be the same duration, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes for both the intelligent student and you. So you require to put more efforts. 100 times you speak, they will speak for 10 times. At the end of the day, it's the same. But try acquiring all the knowledge, collaborate with each other. And I'm not saying that the intelligent, I'm not comparing the intelligent with those people who are down, but I'm just saying that everybody has a chance to acquire a job which is capable of themselves, correct? Who deserve it, precisely. Are you guys excited about what we are speaking, or is it boring?
Excited, sir.
Excited.
Cool, awesome.
Neutral.
Sure. And now, 39, this data will help you understand like what the company employers are looking at. 39% of the managers found their recently graduate hires, which means that they've gone to the campus, hired them, to be lacking in public speaking skills, which means that you can actually gather like 50 people and you ask one person to stand up and sing or speak or dance, that stage fear will go away, right? Like public speaking skills is lacking. Why this public speaking skill is very important? Because when you grow up the ladder, when you need to address people, you need that. So this world has become so collaborative. So how does the projects work in the IT industry? Let me give you a small anecdote. Like if there is a project which CTS or TCS or Infosys is working on a project, the project has hundreds of parts to it. Okay, let's not take this example. Let's take your car, right? So to assemble a car, what all are required? You require the tires separately. Tires are not manufactured in one place. Tires are manufactured in some other place, right? You require a headlight. The headlights are manufactured in some other places. The headlights and the bulb inside the headlight is manufactured. Is manufactured somewhere. The wires are manufactured somewhere, which can connect it to the batteries are manufactured somewhere. The seats are manufactured somewhere. The engine is manufactured somewhere. The doors are manufactured somewhere. The mirrors are manufactured somewhere, right? The parts that you open the door knob, the knob is manufactured somewhere. When all these things come together, it makes a car. Agree? Are you all agreeing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, of
So
course,
is the
sir.
project. So the point is that you need to collaborate to get this assembly together. A person in the organization will call the tire company and say, I want this many number of tires. Will coordinate, the procurement guy will coordinate with the knob manufacturing company, with the rooftop or the nuts, the bolts, whatever it is, the granular parts, they all come together and then it gets manufactured, right? So the cross-functional thing is very high. When you're working in an organization, you can't just finish your work by yourself. You have to take like inputs from different other people. So you have to speak to each other. That collaboration should be there. So 36% of the 36% claimed they needed to bone up, which means acquire, improve on their data analysis talents. Data analysis is very simple. Like when you do a survey and like how many of you see the election results in the internet? Do you all see?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the point is that when the votes
Yes,
are
sir.
getting counted, we
Yes,
see
sir.
like this going up and down, right? You are analyzing the data. They are saying that it's going up, maybe 300 seats up. So the big example is COVID, right? Like the number of cases in Chennai is, as of yesterday, it's 1,900 cases. We are second to Maharashtra in the list, which means this is data analysis, right? And 56% of the managers said that recent graduates do not pay attention to detail, which means that the listening capability is very less, which means that whenever a thing is said, they just do it. They don't detail it, which means they don't dive deeper into it to understand much on what is the consequences. They have to do a research on what they're doing. That is missing. 46% of the young workers should do well to hone their communication skill. 46% don't have their communication set properly. What are we doing about it? These are not people who are like working in the organizations for a long time. These are like just joined graduates. So it is a responsibility of the university to build up you on the skill, and it is also the responsibility of you to learn by yourself independently. So your professors will not come and teach you communication. You can teach communication by reading newspaper, watching English movies, and going inside and trying communicate. Communicating is not just English. Communicating is like, if I'm speaking to you, you should understand. That is communication, right? You should practice that, right? So a comprehensive online learning should look like, it should be very relevant for you when you're choosing a platform, when you're reading something. What all you have to keep in mind for even the university and for even you is that the content should be a trusted content, because there are a lot of internet content which is available. There is misleading content, like our media news. Like our media is always like 70% junk and 30% is what you can actually take. When you open a particular TV, they are saying that the government is doing nothing. When you open another TV, the news, they are saying that government is doing everything, right? Like, so we filter and take it like what we want. So the thing is that how relevant the information is for you, the content is very important. So when you're reading a video, when you're actually taking through a learning content, it's very important for you to understand, for the professors also. If you're giving some learning content to people, it's very important that it should be very, very high in relevance part of it. The second thing is, it should be a trusted content, which means that there should be some endorsement, which means that it should say that it should come from some good source of information. The third is, it should be very accessible and intuitive, which means that you should be able to navigate through the resources or the learning materials very fast. Fourth is, after you reading that, you should be able to apply that, and you should be able to get some results. Okay. And if you're choosing a platform of learning, that should be like a good support from that platform who will help you learn or reach out to learn. So this is where I end with this quote by Jim. I would say that you cannot change your destination today overnight, but maybe whatever I spoke sounded good, or it doesn't resonate with you. I don't know, but it's an attempt for you guys to see that at least out of like 150 people or 200 people who are there in the call, I would say that at least if 5 or 10 people is able to change your direction overnight, and that's going to be the success. So you can't expect results like when you hit the first time in the barrier, like the shark, but you will have to hit many times. But you know the direction. The direction is remove the mindset that you feel that you can't do, and get the mindset that if I try again and again and I don't give up, I can do. And also think about it like, I tried and I failed, but it doesn't mean that I'll fail again and again, right? So there are a lot of learnings in the failures, right? I know that our bulb was founded after a lot of failures. I know the train was founded after a lot of failures. You know what? There are vaccinations which are today the scientists are preparing. All the vaccinations are failing, but one day, like which is not far away, there will be a vaccination which will be perfect for us, so that we can actually have those vaccination and beat Corona, beat COVID, right? So keep trying, embrace failures. When you fail, it's okay to fail, and it's very normal to fail, and everybody fails. Okay, embrace failures, don't give up. Thank you so much, and I will wait for you for some questions if you have. Ganesh, do you want to moderate the questions? I am happy to jump into that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Guna. The students, hope you enjoy the session. Definitely, it's very interaction. I'm just watching till start to end. I'm just happy to take some of the questions with the Guna. So, students, first you can ask any questions to Guna, please. Any questions?
Yes, I have a
Yeah,
question,
please.
sir. Shall I ask?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
please.
go ahead.
No, you just tell your name and your department. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So, sir, this is Mohammad Mujahidul Islam, Computer
Okay.
Science Department,
Okay.
upcoming final year.
Yeah, sure.
So the thing is, as we are not from a tier one institute, how the company selects the non-tier one college? Like, let me explain with this an example. I applied in LinkedIn company as a management intern. Uh, I completely got rejected without any interview. They just rejected by seeing my profile. Like how, as a non-tier one engineering college, we can proceed with the top tier companies.
Got it. So, yes, there are few companies who would want the IITs and IIMs and uh, the um, the kind of hiring that they do. But what happens is there are companies who are like large companies who will say that we will hire a mix of people. We will hire tier one, hire like 20 percentage from tier one colleges, 30 percentage from tier two colleges, and 20 percentage from tier three colleges. When there is a campus plan, there is always a split of um, uh, where we need to go. So when we say that, for example, how we hire is in my previous organizations and now, we see that we select like three top colleges, uh, five or six mediocre colleges, tier two colleges, and a couple of tier three colleges, and we go to hire. Um, while that said, at LinkedIn, like LinkedIn is a big company. We are like 17,000 people across the world. We don't see whether it's a tier one or tier two. We see the skills. If even a tier three college has a skill, has a person who is like really skilled, then we go for him. It depends again on companies, but there are always like 20-30 percentage of the people who stick on to the tier one kind of a thing, but there are always 70 percentage. I would actually recommend you to look at that 70 percentage. So do not get that mindset or feeling that no, I'm a tier two college or tier three, but then they wouldn't hire me. They would only look for the tier one people. When they are actually stepping into your college, it means that they are not wasting time, right? The time is very important for them. So when they are stepping inside, they know that they are stepping inside tier one or tier two college. So that is
The reason why I asked this question was like without interviewing, I got rejected. The moment I applied, after 1 month, I got email that sorry, Mohammed, we cannot continue with that in that way. So that is why I'm
so
asking. That is
yeah.
for specifically Ireland branch, and there was no vacancy in India.
Okay. The point is also they would actually there can be different shortlistings which can happen from the companies. One of the shortlistings is about shortlisting the profile itself, the CV that you have written itself. I would suggest you should connect with your professor to understand like whether your CV is good or great. And there are like thousands of candidates who would have applied for the job, hundreds of candidates, out of which they would have an option to select 10 or 15. So it is very specific to a company. And so I would say like there are few companies who would reject you also. So there are more companies who would not reject also. So be open about it.
I
Any
hope.
other
Thank you, sir.
question?
Yeah, Mohammed, thank you. Any other questions? I think Guna has rightly said. So I just want to just note that one. There is a no tier one, tier two colleges like IIT, IIM, and all that. There is a top premier institute. So wherever the talent is there, like for Google and Amazon, Apple, and they're not going for. They are going for all the. It's an open hackathon kind of things. They are taking the people kind of things actually. Maybe the LinkedIn also in future they can come up with some uh, hackathon kind of things, so the students get the
Sure.
detail, opportunity. Any other questions, students? Any other questions from department? I think some of them they are watching in live also in YouTube, because this is only limited Google Meet. So
Okay.
some of them they are watching, and so they will shoot the questions. Any other questions, students? I think he's very happy to take a lot of questions before we discussion. Based on
Yeah.
your questions, we can move on that. He's totally is a very passionate, but not like other speakers. Like he want to make it as a very interactive session. We attend a lot of webinars, no students. I think every day you are attending. This is a totally is different. I don't feel it's like a webinar. I think it's more on a class interacting, clapping and all that. It's totally is different. Okay. Any questions quickly? I think you'll take one or two questions. Students, quickly.
Sir, I'm Abdul Rahman from mechanical department, sir. I'm a third year
Okay.
student.
Okay.
So, we students from our department, we would be participating in some kind of competition, sir, where we would be made to design a race car and test it on the track.
Hmm.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
So, would be participating in those events increase my probability of getting placed in from being such kind in a college of tire that I don't understand those classes.
Yeah, it's very inspiring that you're able to do that. If I understand it properly, you're saying you are assembling a car. Is that right?
No. We design it by ourselves and assemble it by ourselves. We do the
Okay.
whole thing by ourselves.
So you design the car and you assemble it by yourself is very inspiring. Yeah, this is like this is the skill that is amazing, right? Like we are speaking about academics and practical part of it, which is very interesting. First of all, hats off for that initiative or a try to do that. Of course, yes. When you do that, you can actually how you actually portray this to the interviewer is very important. You can actually shoot a 5 minute or a 1 minute or a 2 minute, maybe a 2 minute video of how you designed this and how you operated it, and then you can make a video CV which can explain like your skills and so on, and then you can give the video CVs to the employers. They would get really impressed. And if you're applying for the automobile companies, definitely they will consider you ahead of other candidates.
Yeah. Any other questions, students? Any other questions?
Come on, guys, any other question? You can ask about me also. Any question you can ask, yeah. What do you guys feel about not attending college? I don't know whether the college is not open, right?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you using?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Sir, where did you do your MBA?
I did my MBA with Indian Institute of Planning and Management, IITM.
Okay. And after that, you got in LinkedIn.
After that, I got in Naukri, and then after that, I was on my own, and after that, I got in LinkedIn.
You can see
so currently you are now head of the South India in Sri Lanka.
We don't have something called as head of India. It's not very bureaucratic organization. We call ourselves as talent directors or account executives for this region, South India.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? You can go through his profile, actually, LinkedIn. I will just share you with
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you guys a question?
Yes, sir.
Like, can each of you or some few of you tell me that what is the best thing that you have done in In one word, what is the best thing that you have done in the last 1 week? Anything. It can be cooking. It can be helping. Anything for that matter. Like, if you don't have questions, then I can listen to that.
Sir, and I would like to thank you for accepting my connection request in LinkedIn. And really, your profile was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you. Super. Okay. Any other questions?
Any questions from your side? Guys, you haven't done any good thing in the last 1 week, huh?
No, no one is having good thing.
Just developed an Android app.
You developed
Sorry?
your Android app. Developed an Android
Yeah.
app.
It was a portal
great.
kind of thing, just a website.
Oh,
It was
amazing.
reflecting a website. That's it.
Amazing. This is amazing.
Not amazing. Actually, it's the learning phase.
Okay,
I
great.
don't know much about it.
Oh,
So
great.
I'm learning
That's a good
Android
start.
Studio right now, so that's why.
Oh, that's interesting. Great.
And
Very
I'm doing an
inspired.
internship,
Maybe
sir.
you should actually send a link of your what you have developed to Ganesh, and I can actually see through that.
Yeah, sure,
Sure.
Guna. Yeah,
I can send the link from the GitHub.
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Anyone? Anything else?
Cool. Awesome. How many of
Yeah,
you
Guna.
are? How many of you started applying for jobs? Like you guys are
Sir,
starting your
currently
job.
I'm doing internship, sir.
Oh, you're doing internship. Okay.
Yes,
Cool.
sir.
Awesome.
Which
Thank you. If there are
company?
no questions, then I can
Sir,
actually.
Yeah.
RO Care India as a management intern.
Okay, great. Okay. So, any other questions to Guna? I think before that, I ask everyone is having a LinkedIn profile, no? Because our placement policy after I interact with the Guna Grace, so we want to create all the students, not only for the pre-final year, even the first year to final year, even the faculty also.
Sir,
So
this is compulsory to have a LinkedIn profile.
definitely, man. I think Guna, you can answer the questions. Yeah, he is the right person. Yeah, yeah. Please.
There is nothing like compulsion, but ideally, if you have a LinkedIn profile, you are at a better position to showcase yourself to the employers. So, when you send an email in the job application, you can mention that link. You have a personal profile, LinkedIn professional profile. There's a link there. You can copy and paste that link so that the employers will click and view. There's also like what happens is the LinkedIn. This LinkedIn is used by a lot of recruiters. They will search for, let's say, freshers, um, with 0 years experience who are in this IT and so on, or mechanical or so on. And then when they search, they will see your profile, and then they can send you messages also for the job. So it's very
Yes, sir.
important to have a LinkedIn profile, but I will not compel you to create a LinkedIn profile.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other questions, or we can wind up?
Hello.
Hello. Uh, Guna is there, no?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, yeah, please. Yeah. Any other questions, students?
No, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Guna. So, Guna, before that, you want to address anything, or we can close the session?
I'm fine. Like
Please.
everything is good. I thank people who participated, and it's like really, really, it's a pleasure for me to do this.
Thanks to
Thank
you too,
you.
sir, for spending your valuable
Yeah,
time.
thank you,
Sure.
bro.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
sir.
Mr. Guna. Thank you for your time with us, actually. So, I request Guna to, no, please unmute students. I request Guna to visit our campus. He's already visited our campus. So I request again after the lockdown. So you can visit as a chief guest for any occasions, and we can interact more on our students. Maybe some of them they're watching in YouTube live also. So I thank you so much for your time, Guna, once again. I thank all the students for the wonderful time in the evening, and the faculty members and the other HODs and directors. Thank you so much. Thank you. We can wind up, Guna. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir, for
Thank you.
all.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Have
Bye.
a
Bye.
nice
Bye.
weekend, all of
Have
you.
a
Yeah.
great
You do, Guna.
quarantine,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
ओपन करो